This track's brutal. It's single track, it's dusty.
It's a battle of endurance, tires, gas.
This course is gnarly.
I think this race comes down to a whole lot of luck. You know, it's the last West Coast race of the year, and so it's going to determine the championship.
Welcome to the PCI Race Radio's Fallon 250, held in Fallon, Nevada.
We're out here in Fallon, Nevada for the PCI Fallon 250.
Fallon's a small town, really desolate. The epitome of a desert area, but they've got this awesome track.
The last race of the Western Regional Series, the Fallon 250, is a 6-lap race on a little over 40-mile course in the Nevada desert.
Yeah, this Fallon course is pretty rough because it's a lot of single track. There's not a lot of passing.
This track is, for the most part, one lane. It's the longest race of the year for us, and I love the long distance stuff, the endurance stuff that, you know, kind of pushes your body, pushes your mind, and pushes your car to the limits. The two biggest things out here is driving in the dust, following other people, and don't cut tires. You know, we've had the most flats ever out of any of the races out here.
There's huge rocks on each side of the course, probably for 40 out of the 41 miles.
This course, it's the most miserable course ever because you can't see nothing once everybody starts racing.
It's going to be a dusty day out here for sure. A lot of silt, you know, on this race course. Better make it challenging for passing.
You lose 20 miles an hour in the dust out at this track. It's a very big difference.
Dust is a huge factor out here. Like, if you can't battle with the dust, then you can just go home.
Coming up, all classes hit a modified version of the full race course to battle it out for qualifying positions for the main race. Welcome back to Journey to the Hammers, brought to you by PCI Race Radios, Nitto, Jeep, and Optima. Welcome back to the PCI Race Radio's Fallon 250, where competitors in all classes are preparing to go out and run for their qualifying positions.
This race is won in qualifying. It is 110% how you start. These guys in the past 20th place don't have a chance because the dust out here is so bad.
Qualifying's really important out here at this race. The course is really dusty, really nasty, and it's all single track. So passing is almost impossible out here. There's 2 or 3 sections where you can get a good clean pass, but you know, if we can get clean air getting out of the hole first, then it's definitely a huge advantage. So we push hard in qualifying. Hopefully we'll end up in the first couple of spots and start the race off where we want to be.
With the timed run of the first mile of the course determining start position for the next day, competitors laid down their best time in hopes of getting one of the top starting positions. 4500 class driver Jordan Pellegrino was one of the standouts, securing a first place starting position in his class with a faster qualifying time than many of the 4400 class competitors. Racing both in the UTV class and the 4400 class the next day, Shannon Campbell had to qualify in both race classes, which he did impressively while securing a first place starting position in the UTV class and a 10th place starting position behind the wheel of his son Waylon's car in the 4400 class. In the 4800 class, Cade Rod put together a great qualifying run, but it wasn't quite enough to push him ahead of Bailey Cole for the pole position. Current leaders in national championship points in the 4400 class, Levi Shirley and Waylon Campbell, both had issues during qualifying but still pulled it out to secure top 5 starting positions.
Yeah, so I had a really good mentality going into qualifying, and the goal was to try and beat Levi and get up front. Hit the first left-hand corner and did some goofy stuff, and it biked up on me all funky, and then I had a flashing light on the dash, and it was fuel pump, so searching for the fuel pump switch, but I'm driving my dad's car, so I have no idea which switch is which. You know, in my car, I can do it with my eyes shut. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it was making any power and pulling. And I got to the finish line and went to do a U-E to park next to my dad and realized that the front end had come out of gear. So I was in two-wheel drive the whole time, and apparently I ended up third unofficially, so I'm pretty stoked.
But the top 2 fastest times of the day went to Randy Slauson and Lauren Healy, who both laid down runs in the 1 minute and 11 second range, with Healy leading the charge. With qualifying in the bag, it was Brian Behard who took the pole position for the 4600 class. In the 4500 class, Jordan Pellegrino took top placement and would be starting the next day's race in first position. For the 4800 class, it was Bailey Cole who qualified in the pole position. The UTV class saw Shannon Campbell secure the first starting position, and in the 4400 class, pole position went to Lauren Healy. Randy Slauson and Waylon Campbell would start second and third. Up next, competitors hit the race course for a full day of wheel-to-wheel racing. Welcome back to Journey to the Hammers with a tech tip brought to you by Fab School.
Hi, my name is Luke Czaplinski, one of 10 instructors here at the Fab School. The tech tip I have for you here today is called tubing continuity. I'll go ahead and show you how to draw this. First thing you're going to want to do is lay out a little bit of layout fluid or Sharpie marker, and you will take your angle iron and rub it. That way it'll show you the center of your tube, and all of these should be pointing at a central point right here. So if you want to turn your hobby into a career, start with us here at the Fab School. You can get a hold of us at thefabschool.com or 1-877-411-WELD.
With the Fallon 250 being the longest race of the Ultra 4 racing season, racing got started even before the sun came up on Saturday morning, with the 4600 class taking to the course first. The long course proved to be brutal for some of the competitors, battling dust, single-track passages, and mechanical issues.
So for the last, 35, 40 miles, drive about an eighth of a mile, and then we'd have to jack it up and shove the axle back in and keep driving again.
Brian Hayes and his co-driver, wife Heather, were making great time in their 4672 car until a dip in the terrain sent them backside high before tossing them over on their roof. Everyone was fine, but marriage counseling might be needed. After a grueling race, Michael Lee came in first place, with Michael's dad, Gerald, waving the checkered flag for his first win.
That was tough. It's a pretty long day. We had about 4 flats. The dust was killer and really no wind. By the 6th lap, everything was really rutted out. But we took second on the last 2, but we finally got a victory.
Next out of the gate were the limited competitors consisting of the UTV class, 4500 class, and the 4800 class, starting based on their qualifying times overall versus by class. A full-out endurance race, the Fallon 250, is particularly grueling for the smaller vehicles in the UTV class. Starting from the middle of the pack, Greg Uffins was able to fight his way through the dust and traffic to finish in the top spot in the UTV class.
It was really good. Fought a lot of dust. Fought a couple of issues, flat in the front and something in the rear. But a good car, it held up. This is a tough field. These guys are the best out here. We're excited to be up front for sure.
In the 4800 class, the tough course evens the playing field a bit, leaving the door open for anyone to win.
Qualifying, we were pushing really hard. We came up on 2 tires a couple times, pushing. We were the 7th fastest car in the race period. We were hauling the mail pretty good. We're running the small motor right now, but it was enough to get first in the limited race and leave it the line good. There's a lot of good drivers back there, but Cade Rod is really fast. He's always either right behind me or right in front of me. We always battle it out at the races, have a good time.
My competition today is Bailey Cole. It's always, every single race, back and forth. The cars are always at the top, always back and forth. I always meet that car out there somehow. Qualifying went good yesterday, not exactly where we wanted to be. We'd like to have the pole and the dust out here. But I mean, we qualified second right behind Bailey, so we're gonna try and track him down.
Both frontrunners laid down good initial lap times, but neither Bailey nor Cade could hold off the rest of the pack for long. Out of the gate 3rd in his class and 4th overall, Eric Brinker of Canada fought his way through the dust for over 5 hours to finish 1st in the 4800 class, a win that was a long time coming to this competitor.
The race was good. It was crazy dusty, like nothing we've ever been in before. First win in Ultra 4 ever. Just to finish an Ultra 4 race is a big deal. You finish, you're a winner, let alone if you're actually the winner. Couldn't be happier.
Kicking off the race for the 4500 class was Jordan Pellegrino, who left the line in overall 3rd position. But with tough competitors chasing him down, the gap he earned by qualifying 1st was going to be a fight to maintain. At the end of the day, however, it was Jordan who finished 1st in the 4500 class, only to turn around and prep his car for the upcoming 4400 class race he was also competing in.
I ran a super smooth race, so me and my co-driver really had it down. We did good. I first overall with like a, I think 20 or so minute lead on the 2nd place car, so we're just checking the car over. I just took a cold shower and we're about to head out for the 4400 race too.
Coming up, will Jordan Pellegrino be able to keep up with the 4400 class? Will Levi Shirley have what it takes to overtake Waylon Campbell? We'll find out when we return. Welcome back to Journey to the Hammers, brought to you by PCI Radios, Optima, Can-Am, and Nitto. Welcome back to the PCI Race Radio's Fallon 250. It's race day and the 4400 class is about to hit the start for their 250-mile race. Lauren Healy, who was crowned King of the Hammers in 2010 and then again in 2014, heads out onto the course first after he secured the pole position in qualifying the day before.
Right now we're pretty bummed because there's a bunch of metal in the transmission. We're going to top it up with some fresh fluid and hope for the best, but don't really expect to pull a finish out.
In Kentucky at the last East Coast race, I was, we were all going to race our cars, and I ended up bending a valve in my motor, and he was kind enough to let me use his car for the race, and I took first, and my motor's still not done, so he said for this race I can have it, and if I win this one I get to use it at Nationals, and he'll stick with my car, so I'm pretty stoked. For the strategy for this race, obviously me and Levi are 1 and 2, and So the idea was to give me more fuel. That way I didn't have to make an extra fuel stop like Levi's gonna have to.
The only guy I'm worried about in this race is Waylon Campbell. Having 70 gallons is gonna give him a huge advantage. He should not have to pit. Although the flip side of that is he has to have that much fuel because his motor is a huge motor. So I think it gets gallons per mile instead of miles per gallon.
Having swapped his son Waylon cars so he could better chase down the championship points, Shannon Campbell couldn't push the number 3 car as hard as he was used to pushing his. But Shannon still did everything he could to keep up with the other Campbell in the pack, his daughter Bailey. While some drivers were running well, others didn't have as much luck getting through the course. Some drivers barely made it off the starting line before their trouble started. After taking the win in the 4500 class earlier in the day, Jordan Pellegrino jumped back into his car to race another 250 miles with the 4400 class. Despite racing in a bigger class, Jordan was able to hold his own among the big guns. Having been chewed up by the other race classes earlier in the day, the course became even more challenging as the 4400 class completed their laps, thanks to heavy rutting, lots of sand, and plenty of dust. Beating down the miles, Levi Shirley was making great time on the course. But like Waylon Campbell had predicted, Levi had to make a pit for fuel midway through his race. In a race like this, one pit stop can make the difference between winning and falling back in the pack. But while Waylon was prepared with extra fuel on board, his own technical issues took him out just after the second lap.
It's been a long day. First lap went really good. I was right behind Lauren and Randy, and second lap coming around, still in the dust, and the car went into limp mode, lost the radiator fan, and made another lap and got a flat tire. I got no brakes, I got no third. Busted all the studs out of the third member and ripped the rotor and the brake caliper off, so I'm out for today. I'm not quite sure how the standings are gonna be. I'm hoping I didn't throw the national points away, but I guess we'll see.
It was an extremely tough day, you know, from start to finish here. We battled dust, we battled belts, we battled, people, we battled rocks, everything. This was such an incredibly gnarly race, I just can't really wrap my head around it.
While Levi fought his way through the dust and traffic, Lauren Healy was able to take advantage of his pole position and run in clean air most of the race. Aside from having to deal with lap traffic, Healy's race was quite smooth, setting him up to take the 4400 class win. Having left the line in second place, but with metal in his transmission, Randy Slauson figured he'd be out of the race early. but surprisingly, he was able to fight his way to a third-place finish thanks in part to some assistance from Jordan Pellegrino late in the race.
So we're coming down onto the lake bed for the last time where we can see main pit. We're just about to the finish line, you know. What could it be? 8 miles maybe out?
Most.
At the most, maybe 6. And all of a sudden the steering goes away and
see something fly.
Something went flying
past my window.
So the very next car along, we jumped out and waved down Jordan Pellegrino, and he was kind enough to tow us into the finish line. I think it's good enough for a podium finish still. So pretty epic day. Yep. Pretty excited.
After having not won a race in over a year, Lauren Healy was finally able to put everything together to win the PCI Race Radio's Fallon 250, a much-deserved accomplishment for the two-time Hammers King.
We were a little bit due. I feel like we've had quite a few wins and podiums kind of taken from us in the last year and a half. Not from lack of work from my crew or, you know, lack of time or effort. We've just been dealing with a bunch of crap. We needed this, you know. It'd been a long time coming.
This will make the Nationals very interesting between Waylon Campbell and I. I know he didn't get a finish here. I don't know if he completed 2/3 to get his points here, but still, it's going to make the national points very, very close. Him and I have been first, second pretty much all year. We've both had an incredible year, and I cannot think of a better family that I want to be in that tight of competition with.
When all was said and done, the PCI Race Radio's Fallon 250 saw 5 Ultra 4 competitors awarded top honors. In the 4600 class, it was Michael Lee that took the checkered flag. In the UTVs, Greg Uffins took the honor, while in the 4500 class, it was Jordan Pellegrino who took first. In the 4800 class, Eric Brinker took the top honors. And in the 4400 class, of course, it was Lauren Healy. Next time on Journey to the Hammers, competitors head to Reno, Nevada for the 4-Wheel Parts Nitto National Championship. Who will be crowned champions, and who will see their dreams of a national title go up in smoke? We'll find out next time on Journey to the Hammers.